Hello, I'm Dale Petrock. Yesterday I had my TX200 out at the range and I was shooting indoors because of the heat. And I inadvertently discovered that one of the Forend screws had come loose, and so tightened it up. And I thought, this, though it was unplanned, that this might make a decent kind of video to take a look at to see the subtle impact of how a loose forend screw on a TX200 Mark III can impact the accuracy. Again, it's not dramatic, but it is fairly clear. You'll see the pictures of the targets that we're going to discuss here in the corner. The first target I shot ended up off camera because I was recording the wrong target. Some days I just do that. And anyway, it was going along fine and shooting fine. I'd shot not the best ever, but a pretty decent 97 on the USA 50-50 50-foot small bore rifle target. And I was shooting my TX200 .177 and using Air Arms Diablo heavies, field heavies in 10.3. These were weight sorted to 10.4 and lubricated with beeswax, as I recall. And so I was shooting along, just getting in some practice for the upcoming winter, as long as it was going to be so hot anyway, and shot that target. And so while it's off camera, you can see the target here and how it performed. Now, all the rest of the targets will be on camera. Typically, I record most of what I shoot because I go back over it to see if there's anything I can pick up about what I'm doing with my stance or my hold or my trigger pull or those kind of things. But in any event, this one didn't get recorded as well as I might have liked, and so this one is missing. But then in the second target, I was shooting, and it scored a 95. And what you'll notice is that as I went through, the majority of them are all 10s except for one 6. And that 6 on the bottom center, I was unable to kind of get a good sense of what caused it. It didn't feel like it was something I had done, and it didn't feel like there was a bad pellet because, again, I had weight sorted them, I had lubricated them, and done a bunch of things to kind of ensure they were fairly consistent. There was nothing that suggested to me it should have been a 6. If I get a score with well-situated pellets, well kind of put together pellets, I don't anticipate I'm going to have any scores outside of an 8. Should all be under 8, and majority should be 9s and 10s, if not all 9s and 10s. So when I get a 6, it's kind of unusual in that sense, and so I was trying to get a sense. But I didn't pick up anything in terms of what was going on initially. I thought perhaps I just had one of those random things that occur in the airgun world and kind of moved on. The next target is where I started to notice things become more unusual. So I start off and I'm doing 8s and 9s, and you see the first 3 I shoot left to right across the top and then down. But as I continue on, I'm getting some erratic ones. I'm getting 9s and 8s and 6s, and then I'm back to a 10, and then an 8 and a 9, and et cetera, et cetera. About halfway through, probably on bull number 6, I start to notice that there's a screw loose, and so on the forend, and so I push it in with my thumb and tighten it up a little bit, and figure I might as well finish the target out. And so then you see me finishing the target out, and it's a 10, and then it's an 8, and then I tighten it up some more, and it's an 8, a 9, and a 10, and it just doesn't feel like I'm being as consistent, and I don't think it's me, and so I stop shooting entirely at that point and just take my wrenches, Allen wrench set, and tighten up all the screws on the rifle, and then I have to recenter it. And that's kind of what you see happening in the 2 sighter targets in the center of this one, as I use these in part to kind of get me recentered. and get me back on track. And so the score on that one was 86. And so I went from the 97 to the 86, and I'm kind of had that sense. And so then I readjusted the target or the sights on the target and shot target number 4. And target number 4 was back to being a 96 with all of them in that 10 and 9 range where I expect them to kind of fall. Though certainly not my best score ever, it's certainly not my worst, and so I'm back to being consistent by just getting all the screws tight on the rifle and getting everything kind of back in line. And so this is just a good reminder and a good video to kind of get a sense of. It doesn't show up as a blatant goofy score when one screw is loose, but it does show up with some inconsistencies as a result of one screw being loose. And so, although my wife feels all my screws are loose, but that's a whole different discussion, probably not fit for this video. In any case, this video is just a kind of warning about the necessity to make sure everything's tight and secure, and that it will impact your consistency overall, though not every single shot will be off. Some will be bizarre compared to others, and it will behoove you to kind of bring that back into line. And so may all your shooting be X's, and if there's any questions, feel free to ask.